Good evening and welcome to Sinsheimer Stadium in beautiful San Luis Obispo, California for Game 1 between the San Luis Obispo Blues and the Bay Area Admirals. We apologize for the stream getting up late. A beautiful rendition of the national anthem just sung here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and we're just about ready for baseball here in San Luis Obispo. It's Game 1 of 2 games between the Blues and the Admirals here to finish out this 4-game Blues weekend at the start of the 2023 summer. Let's take you through the starting lineup for the Bay Area Admirals. First of all, it's Kenny DeSalle, the right fielder from Sonoma State. Kobe Rowling gets to start at second base and hits in the 2 spot. Kirk Wolf in the 3rd. Chase Graves hits 4th out of the University of the Pacific. Alden Quintanilla from Chico State bats 5th. Luke Rossi at USF, the University of San Francisco, plays 3rd base. He hits 6th. Mateo Mendoza, Jared Wood, and Blake Schaff round out the order 7, 8, 9. On the mound for your San Luis Obispo Blues, making his first start, Lucas Alanis, a 6', 295-pound right-hander headed to Cal Berkeley next year at a 5.03 ERA and 78 2/3 career innings pitched at Modesto Junior College. We're just about ready for baseball here in Sinsheimer Stadium. Game 3 of the Blues 2023 season. A couple days ago, the Blues finished a sweep, a 2-game set against the Coastal Dodgers. To start off the 2023 summer, Blues pitching had a miraculous 32 strikeouts. The Blues walked a total of 21 times at the plate. They won last night 8-4, and on opening night, a shutout victory here at Sinsheimer 5-0. Alanis stands ready on the mound in the windup as Kenny DeSalle prepares to lead off here tonight at Sinsheimer Stadium. Alanis from the windup, kicks and fires. And DeSalle leans back as a fastball misses too high for the first pitch today, right on time. 4:05 p.m., 61 degrees here in San Luis Obispo. And there's a tapper right back to Alanis. He comes up with it, tosses to Tollerman at first in time for the out. 1 away. And we'll take you around the defense for your San Luis Obispo Blues. That was first base at Zach Tollerman from Cuesta College. Judah Hill from Arroyo Grande High School is at second base. Hicksonbaugh is at short. JT Ricken gets his first start in the field at third. Outfield from left to right, it's Blanchette, Burns, and Adams. And Taman is in the squat for the 3rd straight game. This is Kobe Rowling with an 0-1 count. Alanis kicks and fires and blows a fastball right by him, 0-2. Kobe Rowling, the second baseman, batting left-handed from Feather River College. Alanis from the windup, 0-2. And a fastball misses too high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Game 3 of this 4-game weekend. Games all 4 days, Friday, Saturday, today on Sunday, and Monday tomorrow. Alanis working quickly, comes home 1-2. And just misses the outside corner with that breaking ball. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alanis works with a semi-wiggle on the mound, bouncing back and forth on those 2 blue cleats. He kicks and fires, and Rowling lines it out to center field. In comes Nin Burns, and he camps under it to make the one-hand catch for the second out of the inning. Alanis kicks and deals, and he hits off the knob of the bat of Kirk Wolf for strike number 1. Not something you see all that often. Wolf stayed in there, I think, to try and maybe get a hit by pitch, put a 2-out base runner on, but the pitch grazed the knob of his bat instead, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Here's the offering. That's a slider outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Blues won yesterday night, 8-4. It was a fantastic outing for the Bats. 9 hits for the Blues. They scored 8 runs in the 8 innings at the plate. 1-1. And Wolf smashes it on the ground past the third base bag, but foul. The Blues did get that shutout win on opening night, but only 3 hits. It's because they walked a total of 15 times en route to the shutout victory, but the Bats woke up a little bit more yesterday. 1-2. And a foul back and out of play. And as always, nice crowd on hand here at Sinsheimer. The kids into a frenzy to try and pick up the foul ball for a souvenir. Alanese shakes twice, looking for the sign he wants. He has it, and he strides and shoots. And there's a high drive, deep left field. Going back on it is Blanchette. He looks up, he chases it to the wall, and it's gone. A home run for the Bay Area Admirals here in the first, puts them on top 1-0. And Kirk Wolf gave that one a ride. Wolf, the left fielder from Arkansas Monticello, knew that one off the bat. Blanchette chased it all the way to the wall, just past that 380 marker, but eventually ran out of room. And the Blues trail here in the top of the first inning. Alanese right back on the rubber. He comes home and misses outside with a breaking ball. No ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Not the start Lucas Alanese was hoping for. And it was 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning and gives up the home run. 1-0. And there's a tapper on 1 hop to short. Hicksonbaugh, the new shortstop, comes up with it, throws to Tollerman in time for the out. 1 run across on 1 hit for the Bay Area Admirals on the home run by Kirk Wolf. We head to the bottom of the first inning, and the Blues bring up the top of the order. Nin Burns, Giovanni Blanchette, and TJ Adams. Let's take you through the SLO Blues starting lineup tonight. And it starts with the usual leadoff hitter. That's Nin Burns the second. He bats in the leadoff spot, plays center field once again. Giovanni Blanchette back in the lineup from St. Mary's. He plays left field and bats in the 2 spot. TJ Adams, the hero from last night, 2 for 4 with a double. From Arizona, he bats third. JT Ricken, who's DH the first 2 nights, gets his first start in the field at third and bats in the 4 spot once again. Luke Pemberton back on Dean Trainer's lineup card. He DHs and bats 5th. Zach Tollerman at first base for the first time. In the 6th spot, Ryan Taman, Jake Hicksonbaugh, and Judah Hill round out 7, 8, 9 in the Blues lineup. It's Nin Burns to lead things off as the Blues trail by a run after the home run from Kirk Wolf in the top of the first inning. And Burns, the leadoff hitter, looking to get aboard and help the Blues even this thing back up. He watches the first pitch fly way too far outside. 1 ball and no strikes from Ethan Marmee, the 6'7" right-handed pitcher from Sobrato High School in the Bay Area. 1-0. And Burns watches another fastball for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Marmee a 2.88 ERA and 2 varsity seasons at Sobrato, and he'll be playing right around here at Cal Poly SLO next year. 2-0. That fastball's in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Marmee, big, tall, lengthy right-hander, a lot like Alanese, works very quick on the mound. Here's his 2-1. And Burns taps it on the ground towards short. Going to his backhand is Schaff. He throws just in time to get the speedy Burns at first, 1 away. Burns almost beat it out. That was a tough play for Schaff to make, but he did it in time to get the speedy man from Cal Poly Pomona, and up steps Giovanni Blanchette. Here's the 0-0 to Blanchette, and he lifts it in the air towards right field. In comes DeSalle, the right fielder, and puts his glove up to make the two-hand catch. One pitch, one out, and there's two away here in the bottom of the first. This is the same situation that the Admirals were in the first inning. It was two quick outs, and then right after that, with a two-strike count, Kirk Wolf lifted it out past the 380 marker in left field. If there's one guy with pop in this Blues lineup today to hit a home run, it might be TJ Adams, who had a double yesterday. Had an RBI, 2 for 4 in his Blues debut. The kid from Arizona. 0-1. And Adams spoils it away, backing out of play. 1 ball. No balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, the count on TJ Adams. As Marmee kicks and fires. And another line drive to right field. This one hangs up for DeSalle as the train moves by in deep right field. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Bay Area Admirals. We head to the top of the second. And coming up for Bay Area, it's Quintanilla, Luke Rossi, and Mateo Mendoza. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network, where the Blues trail the Bay Area Admirals by 1 run. It's 1-0 here in the top of the second inning after a Kirk Wolf home run put the Admirals on the board with 2 outs last inning. And here coming up, it's Alden Quintanilla, Luke Rossi, and Mateo Mendoza against Lucas Alaniz, who stays back out. All told, pretty good inning for Alaniz, except one mistake pitch that Wolf tattooed over the fence to put the Admirals in the lead. First pitch at the top of the second is a fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Alani, as we mentioned, headed to Cal. In fact, the 2 battery mates right now, both headed to UC Berkeley to play for the California Golden Bears. It's Alaniz at the rubber right now. He's going to play his senior season. He's a veteran going to play at Cal. And then Ryan Taman, the catcher, he's going to be a freshman next year. As there's a 1-1 tapper towards second base. In comes Judah Hill, who makes the sling throw to first in time for the out. So a vet and a rook making up tonight's battery for SLO, and who knows, they might be tossing to each other next season, playing in the Pac-12. First out of the inning brings up Luke Rossi from the University of San Francisco, the 0-0. His fastball misses just inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Alaniz comes down the hill again. And a check swing on a fastball up high. Yes, he went around. As our first base umpire here at Sinsheimer, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Alaniz wiggles back and forth, now comes home. And just misses the top of the zone with a 2-seamer. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Blues 2-0. The Admirals playing in their first game of the summer here in 2023. And a 2-1 sword on the slider from Alaniz makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Admirals decked out in the white pinstripe uniforms, and the Blues bringing out the grays for the first time. It'll wind up misdirection and a swing and a miss at the slider. First K for Lucas Alaniz, and there's 2 away. Alaniz went into his windup, and after he took that first step back, instead of going right up with his left leg, decided to pause for a little bit. He waited a little bit longer, and then he threw the pitch and got Luke Rossi to strike out swinging. And here's Mateo Mendoza from the College of Marin. 0-0 pitch. And it's grounded past the third base bag, out of play. No balls and 1 strike. The Blues, as we mentioned, struck out 32 Coastal Dodgers in just 2 games on opening night and last night. Really just a meteoric amount. They had the Dodgers guessing, not exactly chasing, but just beating them in the zone. That shows you some of the stuff that the Blues have on the pitching staff this season. 0-1. That's a little bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. It was Lardner that got the start on opening night. He struck out 12. Matthew Gonzalez followed him with 5 of his own. Here's the 1-1. And a slider out. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yesterday night, a couple of arms. 3, in fact, went for the Blues. It was Alex Narin who got the start. A.J. Moreno followed him. And Caden Tynes closed out the game and struck out the last 4 batters he faced for the win. 3-1 the count now on Mateo Mendoza. Here with 2 outs in the top of the second. And 3-1 offering misses wide. That's a 5-pitch walk and a 1-out base runner, or a 2-out base runner for the Bay Area Admirals. Here's Jared Wood, DH, the second hitter in this lineup from the University of the Pacific. It was Graves who ended the first, both of them from UOP. And Wood batting in the 8th spot, the DH tonight. Comes up with a runner at first and 2 outs as the Admirals look to add to their lead. He swings at the 0-0 and chops it on the ground towards third. Ricken comes up with it, throws the long way in time for the out, and the side is retired. Heading to the bottom of the second, it'll be 4-5-6 for the Blues. Ricken, Pemberton, and Tollerman coming up when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the second on tap here at Sinsheimer Stadium. It's 1-0 Bay Area Admirals in the Blues' 3rd game of the season. And the Blues bring up the heart of the order. JT Ricken, Luke Pemberton, and Zach Tollerman due up against Ethan Marmee, who worked a 1-2-3 first. He had a 6-3 ground out and then 2 flyouts to right from Blanchette and Adams. And here's JT Ricken, really making a strong impression for the Blues so far this season. 3 for 7, a double, and 3 runs batted in. He watches the first pitch change up, miss a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 Admirals lead on the Kirk Wolf first inning home run. 1-0. There's a liner past the second baseman, rolling and into right field, and another hit for JT Ricken. He stays hot and has himself another base knock. So Ricken's at first with nobody out. And Luke Pemberton coming to the plate, back in the lineup. Started on opening day, and he played right field for the Blues, and now he's back in the lineup at DH. You had Ricken, who had DH the first 2 nights, and he's playing third base in the field for the first time this season, and aboard first with a base hit. Pemberton takes a fastball in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Ricken now 4 for 8, batting .500 in his young Blues career. He stands at first with nobody away. As Pemberton looks at another fastball for a strike. It's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on the DH from Pepperdine. Marmy working from the stretch for the first time today. Comes set, glove held at his red belt. Kicks 0-2 and misses upstairs with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pemberton, a .271 hitter in 2023 with Pepperdine. Had 5 doubles and 10 runs batted in. 1-2. Strike 3 called, and Pemberton doesn't like the call. The first strikeout for the Blues here tonight. And it is 1 out now with the runner at first, and Tollerman comes up. Pemberton watched 3 straight fastballs, all for strikes, and he's the first out here in the bottom of the second. One thing the Blues really haven't done this season is strike out looking. They had a couple strikeouts yesterday, but when they've been going down swinging. 0-0. And Tollerman taps it on the ground towards third. It's a foul ball as Rossi comes in, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Zach Tollerman, he's looking to swing, folks. He's 0 for 4 on the season, but he's walked 5 times to lead the Blues. Even with the 6'5 frame and the bigger strike zone, the Dodgers just did not attack the Western State Conference Player of the Year. 0-1. And Tollerman ducks out of the way of a high breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Video game numbers for Tollerman this past season at Cuesta. An OPS in the 1100s. A .367 batting average. He looks at a 1-1 fastball too low. 2 balls and 1 strike. A unanimous selection for all Western State Conference first team and was all state for the 2nd straight year. Now that he's finished with his 2 years at Cuesta, still deciding where to go next. 2-1. And he grounds it right back up the middle. Taylor-made double play and a lob throw to second. Tollerman is out at first, but no one was at the bag for the Admirals at second base. So Ricken is safe, but the relay throw back to get Tollerman in time. It's a fielder's choice. You mark it 1-4-3, but no double play. And I think that Rolling and Schaff playing up the middle didn't communicate about who was going to get the bag, and in the end, neither of them covered. So Tollerman's out, but a runner in scoring position for Ryan Taman, still looking for his first Blues hit. Ricken takes off for third, and he's going to make it there on the ball in dirt. Now a run 90 feet away.
How about a fast feet seat cushion for number 458? If you have 458 on your program, go to the...
So Ricken advances to third as Marmy hits the dirt. It's 1 ball and no strikes on Ryan Taman. 0 for 5 with 2 walks this weekend, as here's the 1-0. And he takes it low. 2 balls and no strikes. Marmy working around the single from Ricken to start the inning, and the miscue up the middle. 2-0. And Taman fights it off down the right field line, out of play. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second as the Blues look to tie this one up against the Bay Area Admirals in Game 3 of the 2023 summer. Marmy looks in at Taman. From the windup, he kicks and fires. And Taman takes it for a strike, 2-2. Ricken with good speed at third base. He'll score on anything if Taman is able to make it to first safely. 2-2 fastball, too low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, if Taman were to reach here, is Jake Hicksonbaugh, who's making his Blues debut today. A shortstop from Atascadero High School, headed to Monterey Peninsula College next season. And boy, would this be a big spot for your first Blues at-bat. 3-2 on Taman with 2 outs. Ricken at third. Here's the payoff pitch, and Taman taps it foul. Battle brewing between Ethan Marmy and Ryan Taman. Taman headed to Cal next season. The local kid playing one of his last couple games for the Blues this summer. 3-2, and Taman chops it towards short. It's going to be a tough play for Schaff. His throw on the run in time to get Taman by a few steps. So the Blues threaten, but they do not score. It's 1-0 as we head to the top of the third. 9-1-2 due up for the Admirals. Schaff, DeSalle, and Rolling when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top three here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the Bay Area Admirals lead your San Luis Obispo Blues 1-0 here on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Admirals. Schaff, DeSalle, and Rolling against Lucas Alaniz, who's given up 1 run on 1 hit through the first 2 innings. A big home run by Kirk Wolf in the top of the first with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Alaniz works quickly and spots up on the outside corner with a fastball. No balls and 1 strike. On Blake Schaff, a shortstop from Georgetown, batting left-handed. And Alaniz right back on the rubber and back down the hill. There's a check swing on a fastball that paints the outer half for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Alaniz wants to work fast. He's got dinner plans, and he kicks and fires 0-2. And the changeup just a little bit outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reminder, I'll be joined by Nate Mills just 1 inning from now. He'll be here through the top of the 4th and the bottom of the 7th for your color commentary. Better analysis than me, as there's a 1-2 slider that misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I just sit up here and call the games. Nate has been on a collegiate summer ball field. I have not. 2-2. And there's a tapper towards first. Tollerman has it on 2 big hops, and he puts his hand up, tells Alaniz, I've got it, takes it to the bag for the first out of the inning. We had trivia in between innings here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the question was which one of these Blues has played in the major leagues before. And the answer was Adam Frazier. The unfortunate guess from our fan here in the stands was Mike Trout. And I hate to burst any bubbles of any of you out there that think Mike Trout played for the Blues, but Millville, New Jersey is a little far away from San Luis Obispo. But the Blues have produced a good amount of major league talent as a slider misses inside. 1 ball and no strikes on the leadoff man, Kenny DeSalle. In fact, 18 former Blues have gone on to be Major League Baseball players, and there's some high-profile names in the majors right now. That 1-0 slider right there on the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. On DeSalle, who grounded right back to Alaniz to start the game. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And this is flown in the air towards center field. Nin Burns calls off the right fielder, Adams. But Adams ends up making the catch right in the gap. Now there's a communication going on between Burns and Adams. Which one of us is going to take that ball? Maybe Burns is telling him, hey, I've got the speed. That one's mine. But there's 2 outs here in the 3rd, and Alaniz is working well since that home run. Some of those major league players that are in the league right now that were former Blues. Ross Stripling for the Giants right now, played for the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. You have Mitch Haniger, who had a big home run to give the Giants a win against the Brewers last night. He played at Cal Poly and played for the Blues as well. C.J. Crone, maybe the Colorado Rockies' best player over these last couple of years, played for the Blues. Here's the 0-1, and it's lined to left. It's falling in front of Blanchette. This just foul past the line. No balls and 2 strikes. The obvious answer, Adam Frazier, who was the answer to the trivia question, playing this year for the Baltimore Orioles. You have one of the best veteran pitchers in the league right now, and Kyle Hendricks with the Chicago Cubs, and a handful of other names as well, but 18 major leaguers produced by the Blues in their 77 years now of history. 1-2. And a slider in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lucas Alaniz trying to get through the 3rd inning with just 1 run allowed. Here's his 2-2 pitch, and there's a pop-up out of play down the left field line. Count still 2 balls and 2 strikes. 77 years of Blues baseball. The first year, 1946. It's been a good start to year number 77. The Blues are 2-0. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and another foul down the left field line. The Blues got a 2-game sweep of the Coastal Dodgers yesterday and the day before. Opening day, a 5-0 shutout. Yesterday night, an 8-4 win where the Blues had 9 hits. Blues pitching struck out 32 hitters across the first 2 games. That's got to be some kind of record. Here's the 2-2. And a changeup in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. DeSalle, a right fielder from Sonoma State. A left-hand heavy lineup here today for the Bay Area Admirals. Payoff. And a fly ball, left field line, hooking away from Blanchette again, and It's out of play past the bullpen for the Bay Area Admirals. So it's a real battle brewing here between DeSalle and Lucas Alaniz. Who's going to win it? Here comes another 3-2. And a swing and a tapper foul. And DeSalle just won't go away. Alaniz doesn't leave the rubber. He stays pacing back and forth between his two blue and white cleats. Has the sign he wants. Kicks and fires. And there's a liner to center. Nin Burns coming in, and it drops in front for a 2-out base hit. Real nice battle from Kenny DeSalle, and he's aboard with 2 away. He got a fastball center cut as Alaniz was just trying to stay in the strike zone with the 3-2 count. And DeSalle earns himself that base knock. And the right fielder with speed is at first with 2 away. Here's Kobe Rawling, who lined out to Nin Burns in center his first time at the plate. The 0-0 fastball in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. It would be cool if Mike Trout had played for the Blues. Be one to really hang your hat on. The other answers in the trivia question, I'm not sure I heard the first one. The last one was Barry Bonds. Which I think that would have been a better guess than Mike Trout. Obviously, Barry Bonds played at Sarah High School in the Bay Area, so at least California. There's a 0-1 fought-off slider on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes on Rolling. Ball squirts into center field, and that's going to interrupt Alaniz's rhythm. If you've been paying attention, does not like to leave the rubber. Once he gets on, he's not coming off until the inning's over. Working from the stretch for just the second time today. He looks back at first. Now he comes home 0-2. Swing and a miss. Big slider. Gets Rolling down swinging. And Alaniz works around the 2-out base hit. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Blues still trail by 1 run. And they bring up 8-9-1 in the order. Hicksonbaugh, Hill, and Burns coming up when we come back here on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher in for the Admirals. It's Will Wentworth, the lefty, so only 2 innings for Ethan Marmee. He faces 7 hitters, only 1 above the minimum, has 1 strikeout, doesn't give up a run, and he stranded Ricken at 3rd last inning. But the Admirals opt to go to the pen, and Hicksonbaugh, the lefty shortstop, making his Blues debut, faces a lefty on the mound. Here's the 0-0. That's a fastball dotted in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Wentworth from San Joaquin Delta College gets the call here in the 3rd with a 1-0 Admirals lead here at Sinsheimer Stadium. 0-1 to Hicksonbaugh, and he taps it up the middle. Off the mound, it sprays right to Rolling, who makes the throw on the run in time to get Hicksonbaugh. That ball looked destined to head into center field, but with a little help from the arch of the mound, Rolling comes up with it and makes the throw in time to get Hicksonbaugh, who might have been robbed of his first base hit for the San Luis Obispo Blues.
The second baseman from AGHS, Judah Hill.
Here's Judah Hill, made his Blues debut last night. Going to be a junior next season at Arroyo Grande High School. Went 1 for 4 with the run batted in. Here in his second game, still batting in the 9th spot and playing second base for the second consecutive game. 1-0 pitch. And Hill swings through an outside fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Had the chance to talk with Hill during batting practice and asked him a couple of questions. One, yesterday the most fans he's ever played in front of, he told me. He also told me his first time hitting against collegiate pitching. I asked him if it was much different than what he'd seen at AG, and he said it honestly wasn't the biggest change for him. So good to see that the kid didn't have too much of an issue facing some of these guys that are 3-4 years older than he is as the count moves to 2-2 on a swing and miss. But as we talked about yesterday, Steve Tolley, who's the head coach at Arroyo Grande High School and is on the Blues staff, must clearly see something from Hill, who was a really talented freshman, then sophomore at AG, to invite him out to play for the Blues this summer. 2-2. And Hill watches a fastball a little bit too high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Nin Burns the second, the center fielder and leadoff hitter for the Blues, as Judah Hill looks to reach with 1 out. Wentworth from the stretch kicks and deals, and Hill flies it back out of play. Three balls, 2 strikes on Judah Hill. Bent back stance in the back of the right-hand batter's box. 3-2. And he swings and misses. First strike got out of the pen for Wentworth, and there's 2 away.
Back to the top of the lineup for the Blues. Number 2, Cal Poly Pomona. It's Nin Burns.
Up steps Nin Burns again. Center fielder from Cal Poly Pomona. 1 for 8 so far for the Blues. The 2 times he has reached, he tallied 3 stolen bases. You combine his stats for the Blues and for the Broncos, a perfect 23 of 23 on steal attempts. As Wentworth, working from the third base side of the rubber, hits the outside corner with a breaking ball. It's no balls and 1 strike on the leadoff man for the Blues. All CCAA honorable mention last season for the Broncos. Takes another slider. This one's a little too far out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Second for Cal Poly Pomona in average, slug, and OPS. And, of course, with his speed, led the team in triples and stolen bases. 1-1. And Burns takes a curveball in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. It was his second school in as many years. He played for Mount San Antonio College his freshman season back in 2022. He's moved around, and he takes a fastball low, 3 balls and 1 strike. Now playing in the leadoff spot for all 3 games to start the Blues' summer 2023 season. Looking to get aboard with 2 outs. If you walk Burns, it's almost like you're allowing a double with the kind of speed he possesses. 3-1. And Burns watches it a little bit too high. A 5-pitch walk allows Nin Burns to reach with 2 away. And now up steps Giovanni Blanchette, who flew out to right his first time up. That's Burns' 3rd walk on the season. Only 1 hit, but he's reached 3 times via the free pass. We'll see if he takes off for second to try and put himself in scoring position for the Blues with 2 outs. Blanchette, 4 walks on the season, still looking for his first hit for the Blues in 2023. 0-0. That fastball's in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Blanchette played for the Blues last season and had hits in each of the first 3 games as he hit leadoff, but after that only had 7 more at-bats the rest of the summer as a temporary player. 2-seam misses in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blanchette did not play in his freshman season with St. Mary's after graduating San Joaquin Memorial High School in 2022. 1-1. Fastball in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Been talking with him during batting practice, and he's excited to be out here with the Blues full-time this season. Get his chance to really make a mark and stay in the lineup throughout the summer. 2-1. And Blanchette watches a big curveball splash into the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and this might be the pitch that Burns takes off for second on. But Blanchette got a taste of SLO Blues baseball in 2022, and he wants the full meal here in 2023. Burns leans back to first, and the pick goes there. Wentworth checks on him, and he's back safe. Two and 2 the count on Blanchette with 2 outs. Wentworth kicks and fires. Burns takes off, and a curveball misses outside. No throw down as Mendoza thought it would be strike 3. And as the count moves full, there's a runner in scoring position for the Blues with 2 outs. 4th stolen base for Nin Burns so far this season. And now a big spot for Blanchette, looking to come through and tie this game up at 1 with the speedy Burns at second. Wentworth kicks again. Burns takes off for third. A fastball misses in the dirt, and again, no throw. 2 straight stolen bases for Nin Burns, and runners at the corners on the walk from Giovanni Blanchette. 2 2-out walks for Will Wentworth. And really a lack of aggressiveness to try and get Nin Burns has allowed this to turn into a potential rally for the Blues with 2 outs. TJ Adams, last night's hero, coming to the plate. 2 for 4 with a double yesterday, had an RBI. In his first at-bat with the Blues, he had a little bloop double and ran it out. 0-0. And Adams takes a big hack at the first pitch he sees. Fouls it right back to the screen here at Sinsheimer, and it's 0-1. Burns at third, Blanchette at first. And Adams, who flew out to right, in the right-hand batter's box. Wentworth looks at Blanchette, now kicks and deals. And Adams bends back out of the way of an inside fastball, 1-1. The Blues have been trailing since the top of the first inning when, with 2 strikes and 2 outs, Kirk Wolf had a big home run over the left field fence to put the Admirals up by 1. 1-1. And Adams spits on the curveball, misses upstairs, 2-1. Adams, a redshirt freshman, member of the Arizona Wildcats, one of just under 30 D1 players that the Blues are expecting this season. 2-1. And Adams pops it up on the infield. Quintanilla rolling towards the Blues dugout, and he puts it up right in front of the dirt to make the catch. The Blues do not score, and they leave runners at first and third. We head to the top of the 4th inning. It's Admirals 1, Blues nothing here on the Blues Streaming Network. Top of the 4th here at Sinsheimer. 1-0 Bay Area Admirals lead in the 3rd game for the Blues here in the summer of 2023. And as always, I'm joined by Nate Mills for the bulk of this game. Nate, you were down in the dugout, and the Blues trail through 3. It's really been not much of a contest for the Blues in their first 2 games. You feel that the dugout's any different about responding to trailing through 3 innings?
Yeah, the dugout seems to be a lot more cohesive. crazy progress within the past 3 games in terms of chemistry. Guys are doing a great job communicating on what the pitcher looks like. Had a good scouting report on you from Army, but he exited the game. Yeah, Will Wentworth replaces him. But there's a lot of communication happening in the SLO Blues dugout. Good to see the guys meshing together quickly.
Alaniz deals a fastball a little bit outside to Chase Graves, the center fielder from the University of the Pacific. It's him, Quintanilla, and Rossi due up in the inning. 4-5-6 here in the order. And a fastball inside again. 3 balls and no strikes. And Alaniz is in danger of walking the leadoff hitter here in the 4th.
Yeah, and Chase Graves is not a guy you want to walk here. He's also a threat on the base paths, got a lot of speed.
That one's in there for strike number 1. Do you feel like there is any difference in the dugout because the Blues are losing today, or do you feel like that they're just raring to go to try and bite back at the lead?
Just trying to bite back. That's what I'm seeing so far, hanging out in that dugout. And I think the latter option is something you like to see rather than the former.
I have to ask you a question is, the baseball mind that you have, you would go through scouting reports on pitchers and you'd be preparing for your first at-bat against them, and then after your first, maybe the second. And then if they get pulled after 2, what's that like? I mean, obviously the Blues weren't hitting Marmy, but they go to the pen for Will Wentworth in the 3rd. Does that change up the way that you're preparing for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's changing it up a little bit. Usually you got a sheet with the roster, and there's a scouting report going on different guys, at least at the collegiate level. But it's kind of deja vu for Wentworth for the Blues offense. It's another lefty, it's another 2-seamer, it's another slider guy. So this is something the Blues have been familiar with the past 2 games with the Coastal Dodgers, because they were just rolling out left-handers throughout their bullpen the past 2 days.
Yeah, I talked with some of the guys during batting practice. Like, you ever seen that many lefties? And they were all just as surprised as we were to see that the Dodgers had that endless supply of left-handed pitching. And right back to a lefty here today. And Alaniz needs to find the strike zone. He's thrown 6 pitches in the inning, and 5 of them have been balls. With Chase Graves with speed leading at first, it's Allan Quintanilla at the plate. That's the 3rd pick over, and Graves is back in safe again. For the Blues, a 5-0 win on opening night, an 8-4 win last night. Both those games, a 2-game sweep of the Coastal Dodgers. As Quintanilla rolls it on the ground to first, through the legs of Zach Tollerman, the first baseman. Graves chugging his way along to 3rd. It'll be runners at the corners with nobody out for the Admirals.
Yeah, and on that ground ball right there, looks like Tollerman went up to down to go and field it. When you're an infielder, you practice working on down to up, keeping the back bent, the knees bent as well. Coming up on the ball if you have to. It looks like Tollerman, he's got those long legs. It's a little harder for him to get down that squat position and be ready for that grounder, but he just goes up to down, and that's why I went through the wickets there. I know he's frustrated at that one.
And E6 allows the Admirals to have a real shot at scoring here with nobody out, runners at each corner. And here's Luke Rossi, who takes a slider in there for a strike. And Tollerman maybe readjusting to first base, played 3rd base the first 2 nights here at Sinsheimer for the Blues.
Certainly a different angle for sure. Some adapting's got to happen.
Here's the 0-1. And Rossi lines it softly over the head of the shortstop, Hicksenbaugh, and a run comes in to score. Quintanilla puts on the brakes at second. It's 2-0 Admirals on the base hit.
That's a great effort right there by Hicksenbaugh. No, he's frustrated at that one, but nothing you can really do there except maybe get bigger hops. But, I mean, looks like he got up pretty well. Not much you can do on that ball. It's just some good piece of hitting right there for the Admirals.
A walk, an error, and a single, and there's still nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. And Alaniz now looks in at Mateo Mendoza, who he walked his first time. Maybe trying to roll a double play. Another liner back to the screen. It's 0-1. Not the hardest of contacts here in the inning, but when you start the inning off with a walk, these are kind of things you set yourself up for. And Tollerman, who had been at the hot corner at first base, that one was a little bit more of a soft corner with how slow that ball was and just could not adjust. 0-2 the count on Mateo Mendoza, the catcher, batting right-handed from the College of Marin. Alaniz trying to bear down in a strikeout situation and get the K. He's got 2 so far today. 0-2, and a curveball in the dirt bounces by Taman, and both runners advance.
Unlucky block there, block attempt by Taman. Hits the metal part of his gear on his shin pad, and it kicks away. Did the right thing, though. Put his knees down, got his body in front of it, but just got unlucky on where the ball hit the dirt. Kicks away. Both runners advance. Now it's second and third.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Another opportunity here for the Admirals to score 1 or maybe 2 runs. 1-2. And a swing and a miss. Big strikeout from Alaniz. Sends Mateo Mendoza to his knees and back to the dugout. And there's 1 away.
Very nice slider. Came in sweeping. Good mix of pitches in that bat for Alaniz as well. He's been sitting in the low 90s today, probably the upper 80s as well. And mixing in that slider has been working pretty good for him so far. His problem in this past inning has just been throwing strikes. If he can key on that slider more.
A liner to center, and in Burns coming in. He'll let it fall for a hit. It takes a weird hop off a gopher hole and pops just above his head. The throw in from Hicksonbaugh is non-existent, and it's 2 more runs for the Bay Area Admirals. 4-0 on the single from Jared Wood.
Yeah, and it seems like Alaniz is slowly running out of gas here. High effort guy. Like how he pitches. He's got swagger, but that high effort's slowly starting to wane. As I did talk with Coach a little earlier, he is on a pitch count, 70 pitches, so we see some action in the bullpen right now. And Alaniz's time could be up very soon.
First hard hit ball of the inning drops in front of Burns, and 4-0 the Blues find themselves behind. And here's Blake Schaaf coming up for the second time today in as many innings. The shortstop from Georgetown takes the ball. It's 1-0. Yeah, we were watching Alaniz. When he's working from the windup, his feet never stop moving, and sometimes it helps a guy like that to have some rhythm. But you're right, it can get tiring. 1-0. And a fastball down in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes.
Talked to some pitchers who like tapping the feet before they get going into their windup. And it's all about creating momentum. You're standing on a standstill like that, getting going. It's like you're winding yourself up, almost dusting off the rust. But when you get those feet tapping, you're creating momentum. Your heart rate stays up. Helps you stay focused. Helps you throw harder.
And if he knew he was on a pitch count, he can use a little bit more energy than normal maybe. Instead of having to go around 100, just to 70. Doesn't require as much juice. But he's laboring through here in the 4th. 3 runs across for the Admirals in the inning. Just 1 out and a runner still at first base. It's Jared Wood who just singled in 2. 2-2. And a grounder right back up the middle. Could be 2. Throw to second for 1. To first. In the dirt, a double play. Alaniz labors through it all and gets a double play, but not before the Admirals score 3 runs on 2 hits and a walk. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Admirals now lead at 4-0. When we come back, it will be JT Ricken, Luke Pemberton, Zach Tollerman due up for the SLO Blues. Four, 5, 6 for the Blues here in the bottom of the 4th inning, now trailing by a total of 4 runs after the 3-run top of the frame for the Bay Area Admirals. JT Ricken, Luke Pemberton, Zach Tollerman due up here as Will Wentworth stays out for his second inning of work after he stranded 1st and 3rd for the Blues in the bottom of the 3rd.
this is the guy I want up right now to start a rally. I think JT Ricken's seen it super well right now. Had a very nice single. In the second inning, found a good barrel. Was finding barrels yesterday as well. Stay hot, kid.
4 for 8 so far in his young Blues career. A double and 3 runs batted in. Had a single his first time at the plate, and now he's in a hitter's count. I was talking with JT before the game, and we were talking, obviously, member of the Oregon Ducks, who just won the Pac-12 tournament championship yesterday, and that was over Arizona. As here's the 2-0, and Ricken swings and misses upstairs. A couple players, as we've talked about, from Arizona here for the Blues. You have Trevor Schmidt, and you have TJ Adams. And Adams and Ricken were in the same batting practice group, and as soon as I bring up the game, Ricken goes, yeah, I owe him $5. 2-1. That's a fastball for a strike. So a little friendly wager going on between the Duck and the Wildcat, and it's Ricken who came out on top. His wallet's one $5 bill heavier. And, of course, gets a Pac-12 championship. That's probably the bigger deal. 2-2. And Ricken flies it out to right field. It's going to hang up for DeSalle as he tracks it back near the warning track in front of the 365 marker. And Ricken's retired, though he gave that ball a nice long ride.
Yeah, and this is a place where the ball doesn't carry that well. Kind of just shows you the strength of Ricken. The ball was just had backspin. It stayed in the air for a long time, but records out number 1 on that fly out to right.
Luke Pemberton coming to the dish now. Struck out looking his first time up. Did not like the call. He watched 3 fastballs from Ethan Marmee fly right by, all for strikes. Here's the 0-0 from Wentworth, and Pemberton swings right through it. It's no balls and 1 strike. Pemberton 0 for 5 with a walk so far this weekend, including his strikeout back in the second. 0-1. That's out. Pemberton playing at Pepperdine. We talked about it on Friday night in the opener for the Blues. Ended his season on a really high note. Had a 3-hit, 4 RBI game, and in the season finale versus BYU, that now just 8 days ago, back on May 20th.
Big swing there from Luke. Doesn't really need one right there in that 1-1 count.
Pemberton goes down swinging for the second time. 2 strikeouts for Pemberton, and there's 2 away here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, it kind of just looked like he was swinging at anything coming his way. Wasn't liking the pitches he was swinging at. Just kind of wanted to try to just put a bat on something, it looked like.
Did you ever feel like when you have your best game of the season, it's the last game of the season, you're being cheated out of what could have been a real nice streak for you?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, and you know, it kind of goes back to our thing with baseball players we talked about yesterday, maybe a little bit of a superstition and streaks. We love talking about stuff like that. But I'm sure the mindset was wanting to carry it over into his time in San Luis Obispo as well.
Talked with Zach Tollerman about his mindset in general these first couple games. He's not been impatient, but I think he's getting there. He's 0 for 4, doesn't have a hit yet, but he's walked 5 times as he pops that one foul. I asked him, do you ever really get bored of walking? And I think he wanted to say yes, but then he gave the baseball player answer. He's like, well, walks mean on base percentage, so I guess not. But you could tell he really wanted to swing the bat, and he's got more pitches to hit here. Grounded out into a really weird play. Could have been 2, but no one was at the bag at second, but was out at first on the fielder's choice. 1-2. And Tollerman taps it off the plate. It bounces fair or foul, says our home plate umpire. The throw goes all the way down the right field line, and I'm confused as to how that was fair, considering the catcher Mendoza fielded it completely in fair territory.
Yeah, he hits it. It hits directly onto home plate. Immediately, that's a foul ball. Although he did feel it in fair territory, it did hit home plate. So that's a foul ball for Tollerman right there.
So the umpire must have seen it hit the plate, not the dirt, right in front, and threw his hands up immediately. So the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's not like Tollerman wasn't used to walking. Walked a lot as pitchers tried to avoid him in the Western State Conference, as he was a player of the year at Cuesta College. Another 1-2. That's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Jack, you nailed it with the whole baseball answer thing. You're to ask a hitter that you're getting walked a lot. you're happy for the OBP, the on-base percentage, but still want to find a barrel at some point, and the impulsive answer is to go, man, just want to pitch to hit, drive it in the gap, but hey, you know what? Get on base. That's fine.
Tollerman lines it down the left field line. Is hooking foul. He knew it from the start, and the count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think the minute you complain about walking is the minute you start an 0 for 28 streak with like 20 strikeouts, because the baseball gods are like, you can't complain about a walk.
Exactly, yeah. Players know that, including Zach, and hence his answer.
Changeup misses out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, if Tollerman were to reach here with 2 away, is Ryan Taman, who's 0 for 6 to start his Blues career.
That was a good leave right there by Tollerman. That pitch up and away in his zone. That's a pitch we could think about getting extended on, but too far to be a strike. But he'll draw a walk here.
That was close. A real tough pitch to take on the inside corner, but Tollerman wins the bargain. The catcher Mendoza thought it was strike 3, turned his body 90 degrees towards the third base dugout, but instead it's another walk for Tollerman, his 6th on the summer, and he leads off first base, a 2-out base runner for the Blues. And here's Ryan Taman. Taman catching his 3rd straight game here this summer. Looks at a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. He won't be with the Blues for long. His last game will be tomorrow before he heads back home. He graduates June 28th from high school, and then on June 11th he'll head to play for the Utah Marshals this summer. And he lines that one down the right field line. That's going to fall for a base hit. It gets past to Sell, the right fielder, who picks it up near the warning track. Tollerman stops at third base, and Taman's in with his first hit of the summer. A double down the right field line. Runners at second and third with 2 outs for the Blues.
Nice piece of hitting there by Taman. You could see the action on that ball, too, in right field. It was slicing towards the line. That's a tough play to make if you're the right fielder, and to get that ball in buys Taman time to stroll into second base, and all of a sudden, runners at second and third again, this time for the young kid Hicksonbaugh, the local kid. Talked with him before the game as well. He put up some crazy numbers in high school. When he told me what his batting average was his senior year, I didn't really believe him until I looked at his max preps, and it is confirmed a .543 batting average.
He lines the first pitch he sees to left, and he's got an RBI base hit. Tollerman scores. Taman's getting the wave. The throw all the way home in time to get the Blues catcher. But a 2-out base hit for Jake Hicksonbaugh makes this a 4-1 game, and the Blues head to the bottom or the top of the 5th inning. 1 run closer. Hicksonbaugh, the kid, makes sense. He bats .543. A great base hit to the left side. We head to the top of the 5th inning here on the Blues streaming network as the Blues have cut 1 run closer.
mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
New pitcher on the mound for the Blues here in the top of the 5th inning as they're 1 run closer on the Hickson-Baugh base hit. It's Brett Pinkerton, the lefty, coming on the mound for SLO. And Nate, what can you tell me about the big, long left-hander?
Yeah, Jack, let's take a look at Pinkerton, primarily an outfielder coming out of Arroyo Grande High School, heading down the street to Cuesta College next season. 49.1 innings of work in his senior year, 4.26 ERA, 54 strikeouts, featuring a curveball, fastball, two-seam slider.
Well, you just saw the curveball. It's got some bite to it. And we've seen no shortage of really great Blues pitchers so far this weekend. The final line for Alaniz, he gives up 4 earned runs on 4 hits in 4 complete innings pitched, had 3 strikeouts. He walked a couple. And the big hit was the home run by Wolf. The Blues have given up 2 home runs this season, both to left field, and they haven't hit one on their own. We're still waiting for the first Blue to pull one over the fence here in 2023. But it's Pinkerton who's coming out for the 5th, as the Blues want to keep this one close and let the offense keep trying to chip away at the Admiral lead. Pinkerton deals 0-0 and misses outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Pinkerton, long blonde hair, working from the third base side of the rubber from the windup. He kicks and fires. There's a two-seamer on the inner half for a strike, 1-1. Pinkerton looks like he surfs.
Absolutely. Local kid, Arroyo Grande. You kidding me? Right by the beach, for sure.
1-1. That's too high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Something I'd love to learn to do, but I'm not sure it's in my future.
Oddly enough, I grew up in a total surf town, Carlsbad, California. No clue how to surf. Could be one of those situations as well.
I think I could eventually maybe do it, but I don't have the patience to learn how to do it.
It's a lot of core strength as well.
Oh, I'm out. A 3-1 pop-up out of play. That's souvenir territory for the fans here at Sinsheimer Stadium. They've shown out in full force through the first 3 games of this Blues season. A record-breaking night on the first night. 1,447 fans here at Sinsheimer. There's another game tomorrow on Memorial Day. 3-2 and a pop-up. This one's playable for Tollerman, the first baseman. He's ranging over, goes a little too far, and then makes the catch, bending backwards towards the field of play to retire the first out of the inning.
Yeah, it's a low sky right now as opposed to a high sky. When it's cloudy like this, you got a gray backdrop. The sky feels lower when you have a ball put in the air, pop out like that, and so it's a tougher play to make if you're Tollerman. Whereas on a high sky, it's a blue sky. It's big. You can see the ball a little bit better. It doesn't blend into the background that much, so it's probably why he overshot it a little bit there, but he ends up making the grab anyway.
Here's Kobe Rawling, a base hit to his name today, and he takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. I feel like infield pop-up, specifically at the corners, when you're ranging into foul territory, can be so difficult sometimes to catch. You don't have a whole lot of time, and it's just straight up and then straight down.
Yeah, and you're scaling the dugout as well. You're scaling the fence over there. Everyone's coming in on it. It's a tough play to make.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Rolling, the second baseman from Feather River College. As here's the offering from Pinkerton. That's the first curveball we see, and it's a little bit low, 2 balls and 1 strike. We thank you for tuning in to the SLO Blues streaming network. Hope you're not tired of us yet. 3 games in 3 days. There's another tomorrow, and the Blues play all their first 9 games at home. And every single Blues game this summer will be streamed right here on the SLO Blues streaming network. You can find us on the Blues website, top of the screen, or here on YouTube if you're watching right now. 3-1. And Rolling flies it back and out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You see Pinkerton working just like Alaniz. He's right on the rubber. Rolling's not even close to getting in the box, but Pinkerton wants to come home. Payoff pitch and a fastball too low. It's a 1-out walk, and there's a runner aboard.
Pinkerton got to be careful moving forward. He left that two-seam a little too much in the zone, and we saw that foul ball there. And he knew it. Tried to go after him with the changeup right after, but missed just a little too low. And Kobe draws a walk.
3 walks now for the Blues today. They have 1 error. It proved to be pretty costly as Zach Tollerman at first missed a ground ball, and then 3 runs came across to score. That was last inning in the top of the 4th. Now Pinkerton trying to work around the 1-out walk. He throws a beautiful 2-seam in there to Kirk Wolf for a strike. It's no balls and 1 strike. Wolf has homered and struck out today, and the home run was a real impressive display of power to left, past that 380 marker out in deep left center field. Pinkerton holds, front foot offset, and he kicks and fires. And Wolf a little bit too out in front on the changeup. It's 0-2.
Yeah, Wolf wanted that one. His eyes got big. Wanted to hit that one hard. Just got a little too excited. Abandoned his mechanics and just took a big old hack at it.
Game 3 of the Blues 2023 summer season. They're 2-0 with a 2-game sweep of the Coastal Dodgers. Here's Game 1 of a 2-game set with the Admirals. Tonight's game started at 4. Tomorrow's game, a Memorial Day Monday game, starting at 2. 0-2 pitch, runner on the move. A fastball inside for a strike, and the throw down from Taman is not in time as it bounces off the glove of Hill. Wolf can't believe that was strike 3, but either way, a runner in scoring position for the Admirals with 2 outs.
I can't believe that was strike 3 either, but hey, that was a good throw by Taman, but an even better jump by Kobe Rolling, and that's why he was able to slide in there safely. Now the Admirals got another run potentially on second base as Chase Graves looks to trade places, and he can with that speed if he puts the ball in the gap.
Graves 0 for 1 with a walk. Came around to score the first run of 3 that the Admirals put across in the 4th. We're here in the top of the 5th with 2 outs and a runner on second. Pinkerton looks back at Rolling and now kicks and fires. Spins that curveball in there for a strike.
Yeah, and it's all right to not swing at that as a hitter. I know maybe as a fan or as someone just tuning in for the first time going, why isn't he swinging at that? It's a strike. You got to swing at that. It's early in the count, first pitch at the at-bat. It's not a pitch you really want. So give him more time to work with it.
And often one that even if you do swing, you're not going to hit very far.
No, and that just kind of sets the tone. I mean, you may not even hit that fair. I mean, where you would want to hit it, probably hit your first base coach, probably aim in that sort of area. It just doesn't set the tone for the at-bat well or the rest of your day. If you do hit it fair, it'll be softly hit.
Here's the 1-1. That fastball flown out of play past the first base dugout. A fan brought a hat, not a glove, and makes the catch. That's an impressive play as the count moves to 1-2.
You can see now that Graves has his sights set on that outer half of the zone. He got a fastball there up and away in the strike zone, and he fights it off. So now if I'm Pinkerton, I want to attack him inside. Switch up the view a bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes. What does he go to? The curveball, and it's tapped barely foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes still.
Yeah, that was a curveball that started in the middle of the zone and broke inside. We've been seeing him work that curveball out, breaking into the middle.
Another 1-2 on the way with the runner on the move and a foul ball down the right field line. Rolling trying to get himself a head start to score on a single, but a little battle brewing between Graves and Pinkerton here with 2 outs. Pinkerton waits for his sign. Now he has it. Looks back at second. With a long hold, he kicks and fires. And another foul ball. Chase Graves keeps chasing those out of play, and the count's still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, great at bat here by Graves, spoiling pitches. Staying alive here with 2 outs.
If you're Pinkerton, is this where you look to go outside the zone, try and get him to chase?
Yeah, I probably would. He's been living there the whole time. Chase is probably expecting a pitch in that area.
1-2. A curveball lined into the glove of Ricken at third. And Pinkerton escapes with no runs across. 1 walk in the inning, and Rolling is stranded on second. A great defensive play from JT Ricken at the hot corner. And we head to the bottom of the 5th with the Blues still trailing 4-1 here on the Blues Streaming Network. another call to the pen for the Bay Area Admirals. It's Nick Gonzalez, the righty, coming into the game. So we're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're already seeing the 3rd Bay Area Admiral pitcher. It's Gonzalez taking over for Wentworth, who went 2 innings, gave up the 1 run on the single by Hicksonbaugh. But now it's Nick Gonzalez facing 9-1-2 for the Blues. Judah Hill, Nin Burns, and Giovanni Blanchette.
Gonzalez, the right-hander out of College of San Mateo, featuring a curveball, slider, and a fastball. Curveball and slider look pretty similar. If anything, I'd say the curveball has an even more sweeping motion than the slider does.
0-1 the count on Judah Hill. Struck out his first time up. The rising junior from Arroyo Grande High School pops it up, backing out of play, and it bounces right in front of the netting near the on-deck hitter Nin Burns II, who marks the top of the order for the Blues. 0-2. Here's a pop-up. This one's playable for the first baseman, Quintanilla. He calls everyone off and in foul territory right beside the bag makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Judah Hill's retired for the 2nd time today, and back to the top of the lineup we go, and in Burns. The Blues just really aren't squaring it up today, Nate.
No, they're definitely putting the bat on the ball, especially in the first 2 innings. They were getting a lot of hittable pitches from Marmee. They couldn't find the hole, but they weren't necessarily squared up either. But do like to see them swinging the bat, being aggressive, especially early in counts. And this is something we talked about in the dugout as well. You can tell everyone's on the same page. They want to attack the pitcher. They want to attack a pitch that they can hit. Get runners on, especially Nin Burns, who's a steal threat. He's got wheels. But the Blues are all on the same page. They're hacking. They may not be getting barrels right now, but they're trying their best.
Burns has a walk and 2 stolen bases today to bring his total to 5 on the season in just the 3rd game. 1-1. That's way far out. 2 balls and 1 strike. Burns just 1 hit. He's 1 for 8 this summer, but with the 3 walks, he's generated 5 stolen bases. So he's not a guy you want to let on for free. 2-1 from Gonzalez. Burns waits on it, taps it towards third, and it bounces off the bag past Rossi, the third baseman, and Burns is aboard on the base hit.
Yeah, the soft contact continues. He gets fisted on a curveball, and it eats up the third baseman, Rossi, and all of a sudden Burns is aboard now and could swipe second immediately for Giovanni Blanchette to drive him in, but for now, Burns stays at first. And Blanchette's got a chance to move him over.
For Rossi, nothing you can do. He had that played perfectly, but the bag is there, and if it hits the bag, you're just kind of out of luck. There's a strike to Blanchette. And we saw the last time that Burns reached base, he stole 2 bags on a lefty, too, and now with the righty on. Of course, you still have to watch for the move, but are you a little bit less scared of getting picked off with the righty on?
I'm a little bit less, although with the lefty, you're going on first movement.
The ball gets by the first baseman, Quintanilla, and he knocks over Burns. The call will be interference at first as Burns jogs into second. He looks like he could be beat up a bit.
He's hobbling a bit there. Looks like he might have caught a cleat there on Quintanilla.
Coach is going out to check him out. That throw got so far that's normally a play you would see Burns maybe make all the way to third, but he jogged to second. Does not look like he's right now, but he's stretching it out. Either way, a runner in scoring position for the Blues with 1 out, and Blanchette has an RBI chance to try and bring the Blues 1 run closer.
Yeah, and even being tripped up there by Quintanilla, he was still able to reach second. Had he not been, could be at third base right now, but another free 90 for the Blues.
0-1 the count on Blanchette, trying to bring the Blues 1 run closer. The pitch? And Blanchette watches it hit the outside part of the zone, 0-2. Blanchette, so far today, has walked. It's his 5th of the season, but he's 0 for 2 this year. He flew out to right his first time at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. Have to at least put it in play with the runner on. Here's the offering from Gonzalez, and Blanchette goes down swinging. A 3-pitch strikeout with an errant pickoff throw in the mix, and now there's 2 away.
What we're seeing mixed in here from Gonzalez, that sweeper, In the warm-up pitches, he was saying it was a curveball, but in reality, it looks more like a sweeper, and this is kind of a new pitch we're seeing at all levels of play, going up from even high school to Major League Baseball, where that slider action comes all the way across the zone, used as an out pitch most commonly for hitters. That was a fastball right there on the strikeout to Gio, but earlier in that at-bat, we saw that sweeper, and it's a pitch we're seeing from a lot of pitchers right now and on all of baseball.
TJ Adams at the dish, 0 for 2 today. A fly out to right and then a pop out to first with 2 runners on his last time up. 1-0, Burns dances off second, and Gonzalez takes a step off the rubber himself to keep Burns tied to that bag. Adams wants to come through for the second straight day. As here's the 1-0. And it's down low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, and it's not essential here for Burns to swipe third base because, if TJ just places a single in the right center gap, Burns is going to score regardless with that speed.
2-0. 3 balls and no strikes on TJ Adams. If Adams were to draw a walk here, JT Ricken, maybe the Blues' best hitter this season, stands on deck, and he'd represent the game's tying run. For now, 3 balls, no strikes on Adams. Gonzalez has to come back in. And he misses outside. Adams thought it might have been strike 1, but he'll take the walk. His first base on balls this season for the Blues, and there's 2 runners on with 2 outs.
And that's a good at-bat there by TJ Adams. I think he was aware of Ricken being on deck and all the things you just mentioned, Jack, of it's probably their best hitter at the moment.
Ricken so far today, a single and a flyout. And that's now 5 straight balls out of the hand of Gonzalez. Ricken is 4 for 9 this season. He has 4 runs batted in. Had that double on opening night to knock in 2 of the Blues' 5 runs. They scored 5, but only 3 RBI. There were some gifts in there. And he goes back to the sweeper to even up the count 1-1.
Yeah, that sweeper, it looked like it was breaking way earlier than any other pitch you'll usually see. That Frisbee action going coast to coast on the strike zone.
Here's the 1-1. And Ricken swings through a fastball on the outer half for a strike. The sweeper looks like it's going to hit Ricken in the head and then ends up on the outside corner.
Yeah, exactly. At the release point, if you were to take a screenshot of where the pitch is, you're thinking this is going to hit him. This is going to hit him square in the back. But that's the effectiveness of it. It sweeps across and you come back with that fastball.
1-2, Burns takes off and a strikeout swinging. The Blues strand 2 more runners. And we head to the top of the 6th inning. It is still 4-1 Admirals here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Brett Pinkerton out for his second inning of work for the Blues, and it's still a 4-1 game. The Blues have had some chances on offense, but can't capitalize so far today. They've left too many runners on, and so now it's up to Pinkerton to try and keep this game close. It's 4-1 Admirals right now in the top of the sixth, and Pinkerton will face the lefty Quintanilla, and then Rossi and Mateo Mendoza to follow him. We got the heart of the order, 5, 6, 7 for the Admirals. The 0-0 pitch, and Quintanilla fouls it back towards the Blues dugout. Nate, what's the key in a dugout? So when you're not hitting with runners in scoring position or runners on, how do you overcome that to try and eventually break through as the game draws on?
Yeah, I think the key thing for players is not to press too much because they're obviously aware of the situation. A little added pressure onto themselves. They really want to come through for their team, and especially this great crowd we got today. I think keeping the main thing, and that's the main thing, as Nate Trotsky would say, owner of Trotsky Baseball, travel ball team in Southern California and area scout. But keeping the main thing, it's so true.
There's a grounder to third after the fly out by Quintanilla and the long throw across the diamond by Ricken in time to get Rossi at first. 2 quick outs for Pinkerton. I think one thing that does help is when your pitchers go out there, get you right back in the dugout so you can try and build another opportunity. And that's what Pinkerton has been doing last inning and so far this inning.
That definitely helps the dugout as well. And look, I think this is group of guys that will figure it out. I don't think they're going to be too hard on themselves. I think they're mature ball players, good players that know to put the bat on the ball, and I know that they'll come through eventually.
There's a pop-up. This could be the third out of the inning real quick. Judah Hill camped out underneath it right on the outcrop of the grass, and he puts his glove up to make the catch. Brett Pinkerton, a real quick top of the sixth. Then we head to the bottom of the sixth inning, and Pemberton, Tollerman, and Taman do up for the Blues. Right as we talk about it, another chance for the Blues in the bottom of the sixth. Still 4-1, though, Bay Area Admirals.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Bottom of the sixth, and the ball flies into center field, delaying the Blues coming up to the plate. And it wasn't much of a delay after Brett Pinkerton went out there, worked a 1-2-3 inning, got a fly out, a ground out, and a pop-up. And now it's Luke Pemberton, Zach Tollerman, and Ryan Taman due up for your San Luis Obispo Blues here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom six as the Blues try and rally back from a 3-run deficit. First pitch to Pemberton is a pop-up to shallow right field, but it hangs up for DeSalle. He races in a couple more feet, makes the catch, and there's one away.
I think what you were asking me earlier about the vibes in the dugout when you're hitting with runners in scoring position, I think Pemberton's bought in, and he wanted to be that guy, to be in scoring position. First pitch hacking on that hanging curveball he threw up there. Unfortunately, it was just a little too high and just an easy put out for out number 1.
Zach Tollerman squares to bunt. Big 6'5" man trying to drop a bunt, or maybe he was just trying to get in the way of Nick Gonzalez's line of vision. But the count 0-1 on Zach. Still looking for his first hit of the summer, but he walked and scored the Blues' lone run in his first at-bat.
Yeah, the OBP machine has had a good set of peepers so far this summer. But he definitely wants to get that fastball and drive it.
Here's the 1-1. That's not a fastball. It's a slider just off the inside corner. 2-1.
Yeah, 2 sliders in a row. Wanted to entice Tollerman here with those pitches that start in the zone and break down. Good job leaving those.
There's a chopper towards first. Weird hop for Quintanilla, the first baseman, but he grabs it with a handful of dirt and gets the out. Tollerman's retired on 4 pitches, and there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th.
He's able to go out and get that one outer half of the zone, able to chop it over to Quintanilla at first. Didn't get lucky there. Didn't hit a base or anything. Didn't get a bad hop. It's an easy play for Quintanilla to step on the bag for out 2.
Here's Ryan Taman. Hit a double his first time at the plate. That was his first hit of the summer. In that inning that the Blues did score a run, Tollerman walked, and then Taman doubled him to third before Hixenbaugh, who's on deck right now, hit him in with a single. Taman backs out of the way of a slider, 2 balls and no strikes. Gonzalez back on the mound, working from the windup. He kicks and deals and misses outside again. 3-0 the count on Taman. From Arroyo Grande High School, like many of the Blues here right now, headed to play for the California Golden Bears, but his senior season didn't hit exactly at 543 like Hixenbaugh, but a 453 batting average. Now there's a strike, 3 balls and 1 strike. As a senior this past season, that 453 average, 8 doubles, 6 home runs, 20 runs batted in for Ryan Taman as he draws a walk. That's his 3rd of the summer, and it puts him aboard with 2 outs for Hixenbaugh, who singled his last time at the dish.
Not necessarily the speed you want on first base with a base runner, but nonetheless, he does represent a run, and Hixenbaugh, as we know, has got that hit tool and can move runners over. Let's see if he can yank one down the line and give Taman a chance to at least reach second or third.
Hixenbaugh attacked the first pitch last time, but leaves this one outside for a ball, 1-0. As his name was announced, it became pretty clear. He's got a cheering section here. A lot of folks showing up to watch Jake Hixenbaugh play his first game of the summer for the Blues.
Yeah, and a real cool story about him. I was talking with him in batting practice. Grew up in Atascadero, just up the road here from Sinsheimer Park, about 15 minutes away. Grew up going to Blues games. Always thought it was a minor league team. Loved coming here with his dad, he talked about, and taking some reps at shortstop. He was just saying how surreal it is to now play for the Blues, kind of coming full circle. So a really cool moment here for Hixenbaugh this summer.
He's got the lone RBI today. Another chance now with Taman moving to second on the pass ball. Here's the 2-0. And Hixenbaugh yanks it on the ground past the first base bag. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's got to be a pretty surreal feeling, as you mentioned, that you grow up watching a team and now you're donning the uniform. And the Blues, you mentioned it, I love these gray uniforms. The gray with the navy and the stirrups. That's the right way to wear a baseball sock. 2-1. And Hixenbaugh spoils it foul off the top of the netting. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and he's ready to hit here in these sexy gray uniforms. These are hands down my favorite. Although the pinstripes yesterday were pretty great, the Scripture St. Louis is just beautiful. But Hixenbaugh's ready to hit here.
Count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs with Ryan Taman, the runner, at second after he drew a walk. Hixenbaugh checks his swing, but eventually goes all the way around on a big curveball. Deceptive breaking stuff from Nick Gonzalez, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. Still a 4-1 Bay Area Admirals lead. 4 hits for each team, 1 error for the Blues, no errors for the Bay Area Admirals, and a 3-run deficit. We head to the top of the 7th. It's still 4-1.
some strange evolutionary process going on. But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Top side of 7 here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the Blues still trail the Admirals 4-1. Brett Pinkerton back out on the mound after his lightning fast top of the 6th inning, in which he got a pop out, a fly out, and a ground out, and seemingly record time to put the Blues back in the dugout, but the hits just are not falling for the Blues here today. 4 hits for each team, but it's the Admirals that have capitalized. They lead 4-1 as the first pitch flown into center field. Right there for Nin Burns. Puts his hands up to call everyone off and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out yet again from Brett Pinkerton.
Yeah, he's been very efficient the past 2 innings. We'll see if he can continue that. And talked about this a little earlier, too. That definitely gives the offense some momentum as well when your pitcher is that efficient.
Blake Schaaf coming up now. He's grounded into a double play, and he's grounded out to first base unassisted. And the lefty takes a fastball out. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The Bay Area Admirals here for 2 nights at Sinsheimer Stadium, leading right now 4-1. Tomorrow's Memorial Day matchup starts at 2 p.m. Still come on out to Sinsheimer for what should be a real nice holiday celebration. You have the day off school and work. Why not come out and spend it watching a baseball game here in San Luis Obispo? But if not, you can always come right back here to us on the SLO Blues streaming network. 2-0. That's in the dirt. 3 balls and no strikes on the 9-hole hitter with Kenny DeSalle, the leadoff man, standing on deck.
Fascinating to see him. He's throwing his slider a little differently now. I'm seeing different arm action than in the past inning when he was throwing it. Trying to make it look more like a sweeper. And I wonder if he's adjusting to Gonzalez's sweeper that we've been seeing. He wants to give the Admirals a taste of their own medicine.
That 3-1 flown back out of play to even the count up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So good job by Pinkerton to work back from the 3-0 hole. It is interesting. It could be a sign of many different things, and we'll try and talk with Brett eventually. Figure it out. 3-2. Just a little bit out. And a walk with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. Puts a runner aboard for the leadoff man, Kenny DeSalle.
That's a close take for Blake there. Maybe a little too close for comfort, but he gets a call there, and the Admirals get their first base runner of the inning.
The big difference I've noticed between the Admirals and the Coastal Dodgers, who were here the last 2 nights, is both teams didn't chase, but the difference is that the Admirals are not really swinging and missing inside the zone, especially with 2 strikes, which is what the Dodgers did a lot, as DeSalle flies it out of play. No balls and 1 strike. The Blues had 32 strikeouts across the first 2 games, and a lot of that was on the pitching, but the Dodgers were swinging and missing a lot in the zone. This time it's been a lot of foul balls from Admiral hitters that are keeping the counts alive. Drawn walks are coming up with base hits. Oh, 1 on the way is a pickoff to first, and they've got Blake Schaaf in a rundown. The throw too quick from Tollerman, and now a run towards second base for Schaaf on the missed throw by the shortstop Hicksonbaugh. And the Blues don't have the pickle defense down to a T, and they allow a runner to move to second base.
Oh, man, if you're the Blues, you're kicking yourselves right now. You know that's a play you can make, and that's a great move by Pinkerton right there. Clearly, going on the first move was Schaaf, and they had him. Just an errant throw prevents the Blues from getting the second out of the inning.
That's an error on the shortstop Hicksonbaugh, but I don't put much of the blame on him. Tollerman, it seemed, got rid of the ball a little bit too quickly, and we'll wait till after this pitch as Pinkerton readies for the 0-1 and brings it home. And DeSalle flies it past the second baseman Hill, who ranges out into the outfield to make the catch. But I don't know if you saw the same thing I saw, where Tollerman got the ball, and instead of running after Schaaf to try and get him closer to where he was going to be throwing, kind of threw it immediately.
Yeah, and when you're working on that rundown defense, you're going to want to close in on the runner, and that's just something we see a lot at all levels, where the fielders will just kind of stay where they're at and just get rid of it, when in reality you got to close the gap so the throw is shorter, it eliminates the chance of an error. But right there, yeah, he kind of just stood flat-footed and just threw from there, but he knows that's a play he's got to make. I'm sure he's kicking himself over that.
There's a curveball for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Pinkerton works around it, though, does get the pop-up, so he's still 1 out away from getting the Blues through the 7th inning. And Kobe Rawling, the batter at the plate, has a single and a walk. He's 1 for 2. Runner at second. Here's the 1-0. And Rawling taps it in the air. Hicksonbaugh and Hill converge, and it's Hicksonbaugh who makes the catch in the outfield. Some weak contact off the bat of Rawling, and Pinkerton's getting a lot of that. Another quick frame as the Blues come back up. It's the 7th inning stretch, and we'll leave you here to listen to the kids sing the national anthem. Or take me out to the ballgame. The national anthem before the game. It's game 3 of this 3-game series. The Blues are due back up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Judah Hill, the 9-hole hitter, then back to the top of the order, Nin Burns and Giovanni Blanchette against a new righty, Josh Petrel, headed to Florida State next year. And Hill flies the first pitch he sees. On the infield to third base, Rossi makes the call and he drops it. Judah Hill was going back to the dugout after tapping first base. And now he ends up as a base runner for the Blues on the error by Rossi, who might have a hole in his glove.
Ball first, ball first. That's regardless of any play. It could be a routine can of corn, could be a difficult ground ball or a ball hit in the gap where you have to dive, but ball first. He seemed like he wanted to get that out quickly and throw it around with his teammates, but you got to stay focused all the way through, and they just lost the opportunity to record out number 1.
Here's Nin Burns. Wants to make him pay. 1 ball and no strikes. Hill tapped the bag at first and then started to round back towards the dugout. Like, I really popped that first pitch up. And then everyone told him, hey, no, stay at first. Burns slaps that one out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. But the Blues get another life, and they put a base runner on with nobody out. Could be a rally starter. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
And sometimes, as a hitter, a play happens like that, an error as obvious as that, when it just kind of catapults out of the glove. When you're standing on first, you kind of feel like you're cheated your way onto first base. It's not going to go in the books as a hit. And sometimes you're excited to be on base and help your team out. But a little part of you also wants to swipe a bag and kind of make up for the fact that you didn't record a hit.
I can guarantee you, Hill will take it, though.
Oh, for sure. No, you definitely will take it.
Not as satisfying as a base hit.
No.
Hill runs well at first, though. Primary shortstop back at Arroyo Grande High School. Played second base this past season. Also had to DH a little bit because of an arm injury he was telling me about during batting practice. As Burns lines the 2-2 pitch in the air to center field, but it hangs up for Graves. Loud piece of contact for Nin Burns the second, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and so Petrel's another sweeper guy that we're seeing also motioned curveball in the warm-up pitches, and he threw another sweeper. So this is another sweeper guy from the right-hand side, and this one doesn't sweep like it should. It catches too much of the zone for Nin Burns, but unlucky for him, he flies out directly to center field for out number 1.
Giovanni Blanchette now 0 for 2 with a walk. He takes a strike on the outer half. It's Judah Hill at first base. He reached on the air, a drop pop-up by Rossi, the third baseman. And that's a slider down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Petrel working from the stretch, first base side of the rubber. Gets his sign, now comes set. Quick pick to first, but not in time to get Judah Hill. We were talking about the Bay Area Admirals here for 2 games, and they're making an audition to try and join the California Collegiate League. This is almost a tryout year of sorts. They'll play CCL teams, but they're not officially in the CCL standings, as there's a high fly ball to center field. Graves broke back, but now comes in and makes the catch to retire Blanchette. But if all goes well for the Admirals this season, they'll be a member of the California Collegiate League next season, and so the Blues might see them a little bit more often.
And so far, I think they're making a good case for themselves.
Up 4-1 on the Blues here. Here's TJ Adams, 0 for 2 with a walk. He takes a fastball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, it's a clear step up from what we've seen these past couple days. The Admirals clearly a more put-together team than the Dodgers, who, of course, everyone's here starting their summer and getting their legs underneath them, but the Admirals seem to have a much higher floor, at least, where you've got the home run. We've seen some really great pitching, around the zone, competitive defense, and a 4-1 lead.
Should be a good game tomorrow as well against the Admirals as they continue to make their case for the CCL.
3 balls, no strikes on Adams. And he takes a fastball on the outer half for his strike. This game's not over either. The Blues just need a hit. Each team has 4 hits. The difference is that the hits that the Admirals have had of bringing in runs, and the Blues have not done that today. They left 6 on base yesterday. They have to have left more on base today. Just looking for that one swing that re-wakes up the offense. And Adams nubs this one to Rossi at third. A second chance for the third baseman. He throws high, but right in time to get Adams. Great stretch by Quintanilla at first, and the Blues go quietly in the 7th. We head to the top of the 8th inning as we say goodbye to Nate Mills. Nate, again, thank you for coming and providing the best analysis this side of the CCL. But anyways, we head to the top of the 8th inning. Admirals lead the Blues 4-1. Kids clearing the field here after the 7th inning. The footloose frenzy, and there's someone in the left field gap. Still trying to get the shoes back on. At least 700 million kids that line up on the third base line and chase their shoes back out. They're barefoot, and then they have to find each of their two shoes, put them on, and then run back across the left field line. All in a matter of a couple of minutes. It's not always successful for every kid out there, but I will tell you, you don't see many bigger smiles than when those kids run off the field back to their parents that, hey, I found my shoes and I got to go on a baseball field. Here on the diamond, though, the Blues losing to the Admirals 4-1 in game one of this two-game set. Brett Pinkerton's heading back out for the Blues. He's been phenomenal so far today. The Blues have only allowed 4 hits. They've only tallied 4 hits, though, themselves. The difference is there have been some bigger hits for the Admirals. Started with a Kirk Wolf home run in the top of the first inning. And since then, all the other hits really have been able to bring in runs for the Admirals. But they have not scored in the last 3 innings. That's due in large part to the way that Brett Pinkerton has been pitching. He's pitched 3 innings. He's faced just 11 batters, 2 above the minimum. As there's a fastball too high for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. On Kirk Wolf, had that homer. Since then, he's struck out twice. 1 swinging, 1 looking. And the 1-0. Fastball a little bit too far out. 2 balls and no strikes. It's Wolf, then Graves, then Quintanilla here in the top of the 8th inning. And this game's getting close for the Blues, who want to come away with a win. Only 6 more outs to play with offensively, and Pinkerton's just trying to keep it a 3-run game. Working from the windup, he kicks and deals. And 3-1 now the count on Wolf. Wolf from Arkansas Monticello College. The 3-1's in there, and Wolf takes a mighty hack, fouls it back above the screen as the count moves full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Third game in 3 days for the Blues. Pitching's been fantastic. What's come and gone is the offense. As here's the payoff. And Pinkerton strikes him out swinging. Second strikeout out of the bullpen for Brett Pinkerton, and he gets Wolf down on strikes. Wolf has struck out the last 3 times.
Lucky number 533 up to the marking 10.
Now it's Chase Graves, who lined out to the third baseman Ricken his last time up. That was with a runner at second. Would have brought in a run. But a leaping catch by Ricken on the liner. And that kept this game at just a 3-run deficit for the Blues. Pinkerton done all they've asked. But the Blues just keep stranding runners. That's down low. 2 balls and no strikes. The Blues will have Ricken, Pemberton, and Tollerman coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning, but 6 outs to play with for the Blues on offense. 2-0. And that's outside as well. 3 balls and no strikes. Graves is 0 for 2. Does have a walk, and he scored one of the 3 runs that the Admirals brought across in the 4th inning. 3-0. That fastball in there for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike now the count. Pinkerton from the windup. Kicks and fires. And there's a high drive deep to left field. Blanchette is giving it chase right at the track. He runs into the wall on the slide and makes the catch. The crowd erupts as Giovanni Blanchette makes a miracle catch. And Pinkerton can only tip his cap as his left fielder might have just saved an extra base hit off the bat of Chase Graves. What a play from Giovanni Blanchette. And put that one in the highlights. Blanchette had a similar path on the home run hit by Wolf earlier, and it just barely squeaked over the fence. This time, maybe the wind knocked it down from Graves a little bit, but Blanchette able to make the catch. As there's a strike to the new hitter, Alden Quintanilla. Real nice display of defense there from Giovanni Blanchette, the redshirt freshman from St. Mary's. Pinkerton 0-1. That's a big curveball. Hit a mile high to right field, but Adams is able to track it. battling the clouds. He makes the one-hand catch, and yet another quick inning for Brett Pinkerton. Only a couple more outs for the Blues, and we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. It's Ricken, Pemberton, and Tollerman coming up. The Blues still trail by 3 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Couple more chances for the Blues. We're here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Ricken, Pemberton, and Tollerman do up against the Bay Area Admirals. It's a 4-1 lead for the Admirals as Josh Petrel stays on the mound trying to preserve the 3-run advantage. He has to look in at maybe the Blues' best hitter this season, JT Ricken, has 4 hits to lead the team, including a single today. Ricken headed to the University of Oregon, one of the best prospects in his class from the Pacific Northwest, stares out at Petrel, who comes home from the windup. And Ricken takes a slider for a strike, 0-1 the count. Ricken graduated Bishop Blanchette High School from Seattle, Washington back in 2022, 0-1. He swings and misses at a slider, no balls and 2 strikes. Part of the Oregon Ducks' 5th-ranked recruiting class in the nation. And then had the unfortunate hamstring injury, was sidelined and non-rostered, and will be returning to Oregon next season. 0-2. That's out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ricken playing third base today. He's DH'd. Told me he eventually wants to play shortstop as he swings and misses at a changeup. And that's a strikeout to start the bottom of the 8th, 1 away. Petrel's got the good stuff working, and really all the Admirals have today, especially in big situations. They've gotten the key outs they've needed. They've allowed some Blues to reach base, but they're keeping them off the scoreboard. As here comes Luke Pemberton. He's looking to break through. 2 strikeouts, and a pop-out to his name today. He looks at a first pitch slider down in the dirt. No balls and 1 strike. Petrel bent over at the waist, looking for his sign. Now he has it. 1-0. That's a strike with the slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's been primarily off speed for Petrel on the mound today. Headed to Florida State next season. 1-1. And that's out. 2 balls and 1 strike. Petrel played this past year at Solano College in the Bay Area. Tapper towards third. It's going to be a long throw for Rossi. Pemberton runs well. It's in the dirt. Great scoop by Quintanilla, the first baseman. And the call is safe at the bag. Maybe Quintanilla pulled his foot because it looks like the throw beat Pemberton there. And another great scoop by Quintanilla, but the call's safe. So as of now, Pemberton reaches first base with 1 out, and the Blues have a sign of life. Coach is coming out to talk with the umpiring crew here at Sinsheimer. It really did look like the throw beat Pemberton there. But the call safe at first. And even with the walkout to talk to the umpiring crew, Pemberton gets the chance to stay at first. And that's a hit. There was no error involved in that play. My only guess is that either there was a bobble when Quintanilla tried to scoop it out of the dirt, or he was off the bag. There's a ground ball from Tollerman over the head of Rossi. Wheels chugging to second for Tollerman. He's in there with a slide as Pemberton advances to first. 2 runners in scoring position for the Blues, just 1 out. And a double the hard way off the bat of Zach Tollerman. Just chopped it high enough to get over the head of Rossi. And an unfortunate turn of events here for Petrel on the mound. It looked like he had the second out of the inning, and now just a pitch later, the tying run is coming to the plate in the form of Ryan Taman, who has a double and a walk today. The Blues still chasing 3 runs here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Petrel works from the stretch, looks in at Taman, who could be a big hero as the Blues want to chip away with just 5 more outs to go left in this game as they trail by 3. Taman takes a fastball on the black for a strike, 0-1. Blues 2-0. They won the first 2 games of this season against the Coastal Dodgers. And the Admirals, in their first game of the summer, trying to hand the Blues their first loss. As the count evens up, 1 ball, 1 strike. Taman 1 for 2. He's grounded out, doubled, and walked. Now, double back in the 4th was his first hit of the summer. As now he's ahead in the count, 2-1 on that 2-seamer that just ran a little too far inside. The runners are Pemberton at third, Tollerman at second, and Taman represents the tying run at the plate. And now he's got a hitter's count, 3 balls, 1 strike. A walk here does create a force at each base, does set up the potential for a double play, but it also puts the tying run on base here in the 8th. And that's poured in for a strike, 3-2. On deck is Jake Hicksonbaugh. He's got a single today, a strikeout and a ground out, making his Blues debut, but we've talked about one of the best pure hitters on this Blues staff. Hit .543 in his senior year of high school. 3-2 the count on Taman, 2 runners. And Taman flies it out to right field. This going to be a tough play for DeSalle. It hangs up, and he makes the catch running in. Runner tags from third. That's Pemberton. The throw is wide, and the Blues score. A sacrifice fly from Ryan Taman brings the Blues within 1 more run. And now it is 4-2 with 2 outs, and Hicksonbaugh's coming up. Again, representing the tying run, but the Blues 1 run closer, and that's a big swing of the bat from Taman to get his job done in a 3-2 count. Tollerman stayed at second. And the Blues are going to pinch hit for Jake Hicksonbaugh. That's a big spot to do it, too. It's Trevor Schmidt coming into the game. He's had 9 plate appearances for the Blues. He's only been retired once. That was in his last at-bat yesterday when the Dodgers got him to fly out to left. He had gone 8 plate appearances and reached base all 8 times, and now the lefty coming in a big spot. You still have Tollerman at second, and now Schmidt, who, talking in batting practice with some of the Blues about who might hit the first home run for the Blues this season, everyone thought that the man with enough power to do it was Schmidt. A home run here would tie the game for SLO, as they now trail the Admirals 4-2. Petrel takes a deep breath and looks in for his sign as the big lefty from Arizona strides in. The 0-0 with Tollerman at second is a slider spotted up on the outer half for a strike. It's 0-1. Schmidt, like TJ Adams in the order, redshirted this season at Arizona, but has already shown his value to the Blues, and he swings through a changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Schmidt 2 for 3, 5 walks, a hit by pitch, 2 runs batted in. 0-2. And he takes a fastball for a ball on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A minimal miss for Josh Petrel and a gutsy take from Schmidt. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch, and Schmidt fights it off down the third base line, out of play. Hicksonbaugh, who was passed over for Schmidt to come up here, finishes the day 1 for 3 in his Blues debut. Had an RBI single that before this inning had produced the lone run for the Blues this season, or for the Blues in this game. Now there's some issue going on with the dugout, and it looks like after a couple pitches, Dean Traynor wants to pinch run for Zach Tollerman. Coming into the game for the Blues is Isaiah Munoz. He'll run for Tollerman at second. We've seen Tollerman, not the fastest guy on this Blues team, but an interesting spot to bring in a pinch runner. Now you're taking out your first baseman, which I guess they are going to put Schmidt at first, as that's where he's played the first 2 games. But it took until 2 strikes for the Blues to implement the pinch runner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Now speed at second base for the Blues, who trail by 2 runs. And Schmidt takes a changeup in the dirt. Real good take on that downward breaking pitch to even up the count at 2-2. We saw Munoz play the first night here at Sinsheimer. He got the start for the Blues at second base and hit 9th. 2-2 the pitch, and Schmidt fights it off again to stay alive. The count still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Petrel trying to put away Trevor Schmidt and get the Admirals back in the dugout with still a 2-run lead. Schmidt trying to tie this game up or at least bring in the run from second. He chops it towards short. Schaff comes in. Makes the long throw a little bit high, but in time to get Schmidt at first. The Blues score once, but it's not enough. We head to the top of the 9th inning, and they still trail by 2 to the Bay Area Admirals. Top of the 9th inning, Brett Pinkerton back out for yet another inning of work for the Blues. He's been dominant so far today, and he's trying to keep this one close. The Blues chipped away at the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, brought across one more run on the RBI double the RBI sac fly from Ryan Tiemann. But the Blues still trail by 2, and Pinkerton is out there looking at Luke Rossi, then Mateo Mendoza, and Jared Wood. Pinkerton works quick and deals a fastball that misses outside. No balls and 1 strike. Defensive changes for your San Luis Obispo Blues. It's Jason Hansen into the game. He's at first base. Isaiah Munoz, who pinch ran, is at second. Here's the 1-0. That's a little bit low for a ball. No balls and 2 strikes. Augusto Schroeder is in the game at shortstop. And so Tollerman is out. Schmidt, who pinch hit, not in the field. And the 2 kids up the middle, Judah Hill and Jake Hicksenbaugh, both out of the game. And 3 balls and no strikes now the count on Luke Rossi. Pinkerton has only walked 1 hitter. He came in for Lucas Alanis, who went the first 4 for the Blues. And Pinkerton, since then, all he's really done is almost face the minimum. He's struck out 2. He's given up no hits and only 2 walks. There's a strike on the outer half. 3-1 the count on Rossi. Rossi so far today has a single and a run scored, but he's 1 for 3 with a strikeout and a ground out. 3-1. That's in there. Fouled off the mask of Tiemann and back to the screen. The count now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch is lined into right field. Base hit. Adams cuts it off before it can get any further. But Luke Rossi aboard with his second single of the day. So that's the first hit allowed by Pinkerton this season. What he's done so far today, he's walked a couple of guys, but after that, he's really done a good job of getting quick outs. He's been getting the Blues back in to the dugout, and they just have not been able to capitalize with hits and runners in scoring position. Pinkerton front foot offset from the stretch. He kicks and fires, and a bunt is laid down the first base line. Pinkerton's going to catch it. Sidearm flip in time right to Jason Hansen, and he just gets Mendoza out at first. What a play by the pitcher Pinkerton on the bunt. So sacrifice for Mendoza as the Admirals playing a little bit of small ball to try and get a runner in scoring position, and Mendoza almost came out of it with a hit. He's picked up as he walks back to the Admirals' dugout. Runner at second, that's Luke Rossi with just one out, and Jared Wood from the University of the Pacific coming to the plate. Pinkerton trying to work around the single and sacrifice, and misses upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Jared Wood, tonight's DH, 1 for 3, with a single back in the 4th inning. In fact, the hit by Rossi was the first hit that the Admirals had since the 4th. The inning where they scored 3 runs and really put themselves almost up for good in this game. There was a home run from Wolf in the first, but it was the 3-run back-breaking 4th that has made this game so hard to come back for the Blues. Pinkerton looks at second, fiddles with his glove below his belt. Now he spins and flips, but Rossi's back in safe. A nifty move from Brett Pinkerton, but not in time to get the runner. And Jared Wood, who's in a hitter's count, going to be keying in on one pitch and one spot to try and extend the lead for the Admirals here in the top of the 9th inning. Pinkerton strides and shoots, and Wood chases it out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Blues looking to avoid losing for the first time this summer. They're 2-0 after sweeping the Coastal Dodgers these last 2 nights. But the Admirals giving them a real fair fight here tonight at Sinsheimer Stadium, nearing 6:30 p.m. on the West Coast. 2-1. It's a little bit low and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Blues do have an arm warming up in the bullpen. It's a right-hander as Pinkerton, the lefty, labors through here in the top of the 9th inning. 3 balls and 1 strike. And now he comes home 3-1 and misses out. A walk, his 3rd of the evening, and that puts 2 runners on for the 9-hole hitter Blake Schaff. A single, a sac bunt, and now a walk. And there's 2 runners aboard. Schaff, so far today, has grounded into a double play. He has walked and then advanced on an error, but he's 0 for 2. No balls, no strikes on Schaff as Pinkerton looking to work around the base runners here in the top of the 9th inning. Keep this one close for the Blues. 0-0 is there on the outside corner for his strike. 0-1 the count on Schaff, the shortstop from Georgetown. The Blues look on from the dugout, trying to keep this one close and answer back in the bottom of the 9th. There's a soft ground ball to first. Hansen flips and throws to second, not in time, as Augusto Schroeder was chased off the bag by the errant throw, and now the bases loaded as the Blues were trying to turn 2 with just 1 out in the top of the order coming up for the Admirals. That's an error on the first baseman, Jason Hansen. His first appearance in tonight's game, as now Dean Traynor is going to head out to the mound. That might be the end of the day for Pinkerton. So a fielder's choice, but an error on the new Blues first baseman. It's a big spot because bases loaded with just 1 out. And the Blues, who have really struggled to come back from the deficit, they need to keep this one close. You feel like maybe anything more than 2 runs or 3 runs heading into the bottom of the ninth might be too much of a task for the Blues offense that, while it's gotten runners on base, has just simply not been able to bring them in. Long conversation going on between Dean Traynor and the Blues infield, along with Brett Pinkerton, and the decision is made that Pinkerton's going to stay in this game. So the righty in the pen is going to stay there for at least one more batter, as they are hastening up their warm-up in the pen. It is 44. I don't know. So here's Kenny DeSalle, 0 for 4 as the leadoff hitter for the Admirals today, and the Blues bring the corners in the middle halfway. And DeSalle attacks the first pitch and lines it into left field. 1 run's going to score from the Admirals. Here comes the runner at second, Jared Wood. He scores. It's 6-2. Bay Area Admirals here in the ninth. A back-breaking hit for the Blues. Plates 2 runs, and now the Blues are down by 4, and the decision to leave Pinkerton in does not pay off for Dean Traynor here in the ninth. And it's not over here in the top of the ninth inning, because there's still just 1 out and 2 runners on. And now Kobe Rawling coming to the plate. He's singled and walked today. Pinkerton staying out, still trying to limit the damage here in the top of the ninth inning. He kicks and fires and misses high with a curveball. It's 1 ball and no strikes on Rawling. So the first hit for Kenny DeSalle tonight proves to be a big one. Puts the Admirals back up by 4 runs. And all the work that the Blues did to try and get back in this game is now undone by 1 swing of the bat for the Admirals. Two 2-0 the count. Pinkerton staying out, trying to get the lefty. Here's his offering. And a swing and a miss, high and inside. And Rawling goes around to count 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here, top 9. The Admirals have scored 2, and they threaten to score more, putting insurance runs on the board in the top of the 9th inning. Pinkerton squares up, looks back at second. Glove held below the belt. Now he kicks and deals. And there's a curveball lined into center field, dropping in front of Burns, and it drops for a base hit. Throw is cut off by the third baseman, Ricken. And another hit for the Admirals loads the bases once again with just 1 out. Blanchette and Burns had really no shot at that. And now Dean Traynor has seen enough. He's going to the pen with 1 out and the bases loaded. And what was a promising outing for Pinkerton has turned into 2 runs here in the 9th and maybe more, with the bases loaded and 1 out and a call to the bullpen. We'll be right back here on the SLO Blues streaming network with the Admirals leading the Blues 6-2.
fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network, where the Blues find themselves now trailing 6-2 in the ninth, and they need to try and stop the bleeding. They're turning to Nico Pinato coming into the game. The right-hander wearing number 44 for the Blues inherits a bases-loaded situation with one out, and it's still the heart of the order for the Bay Area Admirals. In this inning, there have been 3 hits, a walk, and an error by the Blues. That's allowed the Admirals to score twice, and they still threaten to score more. Kirk Wolf, who hit a home run back in the first inning, has struck out 3 times since then, but he comes up here with a chance to drive in 1, if not more, runs for the Admirals. And the Blues watch all their hard work undone by a couple swings of the bat by the Admirals. And Pinato just trying to keep this one some semblance of close for the bottom of the ninth, as the Blues will try and answer back. Wolf steps in as Pinato steps onto the mound for the first time this summer. A right-hander working on the first base side of the rubber, looks back at second, and now deals to Wolf. And spots up with a slider on the outer half for a strike. It's 0-1. Pinato, not a player that was listed on the Blues roster, but he gets the call here in the ninth. 0-1. And it's in the dirt. Great block by Taman to his right to keep it in front and keep the runners at their respective bases. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. Pinato looks back at second. Now here's his 1-1. And Wolf, it's a high liner out to center field. Burns is chasing it back, still going back, and he stops to make the catch. 1 run's going to score as the runner at third, Schaaf, tags up to score easily on the sacrifice fly. Makes it 7-2. But a good job from Burns to track that one down. And if that had dropped, going to mean 3 runs scored for the Admirals, at least 2. So 1 out for Pinato out of the pen. The lead 7-2 now for the Admirals, and runners at the corners. Wolf gets credit with the sac fly. That's his second RBI of the day. He knocked it himself his first time up with the home run. Chase Graves swings and misses at a fastball. Pinato blew it right by him, and the count 0 balls and 1 strike. The Blues will have 9-1-2 due up. We'll see if Judah Hill gets the call to lead off the inning, but then it's back to the top of the order. It'll be Burns and Blanchette. 0-1 offering with a runner on the move. No swing. The throw down to second is not in time as Kobe Rolling steals second base on Taman, who had enough juice on the throw, but wrong side of the bag, and Augusto Schroeder couldn't lay down the tag. 1 ball and 1 strike, and now 2 runners in scoring position for the Admirals with 2 away. One the count on Chase Graves. Here's the pitch, and Graves takes a slider for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blues trail by 5. The Admirals want to tack on more insurance. They've already scored 3 runs here in the top of the 9th inning. Pinato from the stretch comes set. He kicks and deals, and Graves takes a slider down low. 2-2. All the fans that showed out here at Sinsheimer Stadium today for a little Sunday morning baseball, they've stuck around. It's still light out here in San Luis Obispo. The lights are on, but it's not a dark sky up above. And the fans want something to cheer for. Pinato wants to give it to him 2-2. He strides and shoots. And Chase Graves lines it down the left field line. That's a base hit. 1 run in to score. That's to sell. Right behind him, Kobe Rolling. It's a double for Chase Graves, and the lead extended in a big way, 9-2, Bay Area Admirals. The Blues were 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, but they've allowed 5 here in the top of the 9th inning, and the Admirals now have a commanding 7-run lead, and they're auditioned to play in the CCL. looking good so far. Their first game of the summer, and they're up on the Blues 9-2. That's Graves' first hit of the day, and that was a rocket down the left field line. And the Blues still aren't out of it. Still a runner in scoring position, and Alden Quintanilla as the Admirals have batted around here in the ninth. 0-0, and Quintanilla with a mighty hack. Swings right through that high fastball, and it's 0-1. Tough ask for Panado to come out here. His first outing of the summer, he inherited the bases loaded and 1 out. A lot of the runs charged to Pinkerton. In fact, all 3 since Panado came in. But it's hard to not allow those inherited runs to score when you come in bases loaded and less than 2 outs. 0-2 the count on Quintanilla, who's trying to make it 10 whole runs for the Admirals here tonight. Chase Graves with big speed at second. 0-2. And Quintanilla fights it off. He's got himself a base hit. It bounces in front of Blanchette, and Davis is going to be held at third. Perfect throw from Blanchette to Taman. But the Admirals keep going station to station. And now runners at the corners with 2 away. And the Blues can't get out of the ninth. That's 5 hits now in the inning, and Rossi, who started the inning off with a single, is coming up for the second time here in the ninth inning. He's got 2 singles to his name, scored the first of the 5 runs that the Admirals have put up. Panado strikes with a fastball and misses a little bit high. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Quintanilla at first, Chase Graves at third. And the Blues enter this inning trailing by 2. They now trail by a massive 7. Panado's ready, behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Rossi, and he comes home. Rossi tattoos it back to the screen, 2-1. For the Blues, if they're not able to win it in the bottom of the ninth, which it would take a 7-run inning at the very least, to at least tie this game. We'll have another chance tomorrow as the Admirals will roll back into Sinsheimer for a 2 p.m. Memorial Day matchup. 2-1. And that's in there for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Panado, again, 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. The Blues have struck out 5 hitters today, and Panado with 1 more strike could make it 6. He's just trying to get out of the ninth. Here's his offering. And a curveball lined into the glove of Schroeder at short. What a play to get the Blues out of the inning. But the Admirals strike for 5. We head to the bottom of the ninth, and it'll take a miracle for the Blues. They're down by 7 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Coming up, it'll be 9-1-2 due up in the order. Right now, it's Hill, Burns, and Blanchette. Jason Hansen stepping up for the Blues in the bottom of the ninth inning. He's in Judah Hill's spot in the 9 hole. After him, it'll be Burns and Blanchette as the Blues now chase 7 runs here in the bottom of the ninth inning. They let the top of the ninth get away from them as the Admirals scored 5 times to take a commanding 7-run lead. Josh Petrel still on the mound. He deals to Hansen, who's up for the first time today and takes a strike on the outer half. Game got away from the Blues. It was close most of the way, and they had got it down to 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning, but just could not get that final out in the top of the 9th. And now it'll take one heck of a rally down by 7. Hansen played in yesterday's contest in left field. He takes a slider down low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hansen had 1 hit in his 4 at-bats. It was a single in the 3rd. 2-1. He swings and misses at a high fastball, 2-2. Blues on the brink of losing their first game of the 2023 summer. They're 2-0, and the Admirals looking to get off to a 1-0 start. 2-2. And a chopper up the middle. The shortstop Schaff over behind the bag. A sling throw to first. What a play by the shortstop from Georgetown. It's in time to get Hansen, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Schaff made that look easy. I promise you, it was not. He contorted his body sideways to make that really nice throw. And one thing that the Admirals have done super well today is they've played phenomenal defense behind their pitching. Outside of the drop pop-up by Rossi, there really has not been one mistake. Fastball to Hyde and in Burns. Back to the top of the order for the Blues. Burns so far today has 2 stolen bases on a walk and a single, and a line out and a ground out. If you're going to start a rally, Burns would be the one you'd want on base to do it with his speed, his base running acumen. But for the Blues right now, it's just each person gets on base, the next person moves them over, try and scratch back. There's a pop-up on the right side. Who's it going to be, Rolling or Quintanilla? It's the first baseman, Quintanilla, who puts his glove up and makes the catch in foul territory, and the Blues are down to their last out. And it might be impossible for the Blues to come back down by 7, but you're trying to at least take something into tomorrow's matchup. These two teams will have to play each other again, and the Blues will try and get a win across tomorrow to go above 500 on this 4-game homestand. There's a strike to Giovanni Blanchette. Still looking for his first hit as a Blue. He's walked 5 times, 2 flyouts and a strikeout as well today. He grounds it to third. This could be the game. Rossi dives and loses the ball as he comes up with it. Real tough play. Would have been a phenomenal job by the third baseman as Blanchette ends up with a hit. His first as a Blue in 2023. And there's a runner aboard with 2 outs for SLO.
Here's TJ Adams for the Blues.
TJ Adams up now. The last hope for the Blues here today. He's still looking for his first hit of the night. He's walked once, but other than that, 2 pop-outs and a ground out. He takes strike number 1 from Petrel, who works quickly from the stretch and misses outside with a slider. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one. Here's the pitch. It's in there to Adams, who inside out swings it out to center. Graves tracks it back and puts his glove up to make the catch. This game goes final, a 9-2 Admirals victory, and the Blues drop their first game of the 2023 summer, and the Bay Area Admirals start their summer off on a high note with a 7-run victory as they really pulled away in the 9th inning. Pitching was still good for the Blues today up until that 9th frame, where it was a 5-run inning with 5 hits for the Admirals. And the Blues look up at the scoreboard, wishing that this one could have been a little bit closer, but the bats just weren't at it today. 7 hits for the Blues, just couldn't get that one big one. They also made 2 errors. 9 hits for the Admirals, only 1 error committed on their side. Decent amount of strikeouts and walks both ways. But for the Blues, it's a game that they drop, and they might want another crack at that top of the 9th inning. We're going to step away real quick on the SLO Blues streaming network, but we'll bring you an intern interview on the other side of this break.
mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network, and we've got our first intern interview of 2023. The Blues dropped this one, final score of 9-2, but I'm joined by another Jack, and there's 3 of us this summer, but I'm here with Jack Kaminskis, who's on the promotions team this summer. And Jack, the first question I have is, can you tell them where are you from and where do you go to school?
I am from Salinas, California, and I'm going to school at Cal Poly. I'm a second year right now.
So you're on the promotions team, and I'm curious, what were you looking forward to doing most here for the Blues this summer, and what's the kind of one thing you've circled is I want to do this summer for the Blues?
So far I've done the scoreboard a bunch, but I mean just learn as much as I can basically while I'm here over the course of the summer, do a bunch of different things.
How'd you learn about the Blues?
So during class, someone came and talked about the Blues, and then Adam, the GM, came and talked to one of my classes, so that's how I heard about the Blues.
You're a big baseball fan?
Yep, big Giants fan.
Giants fan, all right. Did you grow up playing at all?
Yep, grew up playing travel ball, Little League, yep, high school.
What was your position of choice?
Center field.
Center
Played
field?
in the outfield.
So you must be fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Blues have some fast players. We might have to get some kind of a race going between you and maybe Nin Burns, who's got a couple of stolen bases. You think you'd have any chance? Or?
I do not think I would have any chance.
I
think my wheels days are behind me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we really thank you for coming and joining us on the SLO Blues streaming network. The Blues dropped this one, final score of 9-2. The ninth inning kind of got away from them, but we got to talk with 2 Jacks here on the press box. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Blues Baseball. We'll be back here tomorrow for a 2 p.m. first pitch against the Bay Area Admirals, Game 2 of a 2-game set.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working